Hey everybody, it's Joric. Welcome back. I hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Today I want to talk about renewal permits here in Portugal and how long they're taking. I've met with several people or have done Zoom calls recently where they're in and they have either had their initial, I'll say CEF appointment, or as it's changed to the AIMA, they've had their appointment and they're waiting for their cards. So they just got here, so they're getting their initial permits, as well as I've met with several immigrants that are in their first renewal or their second renewal. And right now they're all through the AIMA and they're going, well, things seem to be taking longer. Is it us or is it a reality? So I want to go through our situation, I'll say pre-lockdown. 3 weeks from the time that you had the appointment was almost to the week and to the day you were getting your card. Now keep in mind when you have your initial exam or interview appointment, you will get a piece of paper that has like your mugshot, a face, and then usually there may be a thumbprint on it. But you can use that in lieu of having the actual card. In renewals, that's not the case because if you're not meeting in person, we haven't been sent that in either our first renewal or second renewal. But originally, before things got crazy in the world, 3 weeks is when you could expect that. Come our first renewal, it took 4 weeks. So that was also during lockdown period. But as we're kind of starting to come through that, there was a long backlog. But 4 weeks, no big deal. I mean, our cards are still are valid. The week that our cards expired, we received our new cards. No big deal. And we weren't traveling, so it wasn't like we were worried about anything like that. And it's rare, although we keep our ID with us, of course, when we're walking around the streets of Lisbon or anywhere in Portugal. We've never been asked for it, although I guess you could be. But we always feel better when we have the actual permit that says that we're legal and we're good to go. So we are in our second renewal, and with that, or actually technically second renewal. The appointment was in November. It was virtual. It was supposed to be in person because of the new organization. The AIMA wanted things in person. We were able to talk to our attorney about having it be a non-in-person meeting. Got them all the documents. Everything's ready to go. And now we are 8 weeks out from that appointment, and there's no end in sight, meaning speaking to our attorney on, are we going to get cards anytime soon? She has absolutely no idea. And she just said that without much being publicized, the transition from CEF to the AIMA has been nothing short of a disaster. That is her quote, Portuguese attorney who's been doing immigration for over 20 years. So that's not my quote, that's her quote. And it shows because now, even during the pandemic with things closing down, we still receive things in a much quicker time frame. And I had asked her, I said, is it because the onslaught of people coming, and especially people wanting that initial interview, trying to get in with NHR, is that causing a backlog? And she said, no, it's just there's been a backlog for years, family reunification from several countries, still thousands of people from Brexit that haven't had everything completed. So with that, if you are coming in and you just got here and you're going to have your appointment with the AIMA and you're hoping that, well, we'll get our card right away, you might be waiting several months to get that card, just so you're aware. Now, again, you will get a document that will show that, in lieu of getting the card, this means that your temporary resident status is in place. It's just you don't have the card yet. But when you're renewing, you may be in trouble. So as we're looking at upcoming travel, we're going to be traveling with our passport, which will get us to where we need to, but our cards have expired, so we're just waiting to see. And as I'm going through Reddit and Facebook forums, there are many people that are upset about the time that it's taking, and that's I would say welcome to Portugal. This is, if you're new here, this is how it works. You have to get used to it. And if you've been here, it's frustrating that things are taking longer to renew. But that's also part of the deal. That's just something that you have to live with. And if you're wanting to be here short term or long term basis, some of this stuff is, even though it's a new agency or a different agency, some of the old stuff, delays and bureaucracy are just going to be day to day life. So it's something that probably the sooner that you get used to it or accept it, probably the better off from a frustration level you'll be. So I hope that they get their act together. It's not great having to wait for things, but that's just the way it is. It's not something that's high on, I don't think, the Portuguese priority list. And the challenge in the immigration as a whole, it's the old agency did not have a great reputation. And so far, the new agency is not starting off with one. Hopefully, over time, this will get better. We'll see. Time will tell on that. So, and if you have any questions regarding your renewal or whatnot, please email me. I can try to set you up with our attorney if you want to have a conversation with her. Hopefully you already have someone you're working with. If you're trying to do this alone, I will say the people that do, some people have no problem with it, but it's often maximum frustration. We think it's worth it to have an attorney present or helping us, so that way it helps with some of the frustration that goes on in the bureaucracy. As always, thank you so much for watching and enjoy your travels.